Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, fine, thanks. Andrew?
I'm good. Happy to be here at RC-DC 2024. My name is Kevin.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I'm one of the co-founders of RCO, along with my other half, Nemzi, from Thailand.
Where are you from?
It's a mixed question. I'm born in Malaysia, raised in the United States, but currently reside in Dubai, and that's our home base for RCO.
Right.
International.
International.
We have very strong connections with the both US, Thailand, Malaysia, and building a presence and lots of friends in Japan over the weekend. So very excited.
How was your expression about Japan?
In September, we came and we did a LTDC ladder for World TDC in Japan. So this is actually my second time this year in Japan and second time in Yatabe. But this time, no stress, not driving.
No stress, no driving.
No driving. But yeah, we just finished World TDC. We were the title sponsors for that series. But we're happy to be back here and amongst the, I guess you would say, the best of the best. The competition is very fierce. Looking forward to the qualify and the battles.
I'm very interested in what you have got.
So for 2024, we've releasing, or sorry, 2025, we are releasing our new series chassis. Kanzai was our original chassis. More RDX specific with some YD2 variants. But what we did was, rather than take that chassis and expand that, we came up with a new design philosophy in essentially making like a Lego set for the cars. So this new chassis is dubbed Kaiju.
Kaiju?
Kaiju.
Well, monster.
Right. All four are Kaiju.
Kaiju, right.
So what Kaiju is a mix of, as you can see here, a front and a back plate. Meaning that in this setup, this is overdose glom. This one is a pure RDX. This one is a YD2, and this one is already mixed with RDX and a Shark. So in theory, you could take a glom front end and I could mix it with an RDX back end. And when we get to phase 2, our lineup will expand to GRK, D5, D6, DC10, NGE. I'm missing one. There's 11. One more chassis. So we should have all the current chassis in the mix. So RMX MST. That's the one. So if you have a chassis, for instance, and you want to experiment with another, or maybe if you're like me and have multiple chassis, this is a way to kind of mix and match and play. So the one that I'm actually excited to work on right now is a GRK 5R rear transmission top mount, along with a DDSS Shark front end. I think it'll be quite good. But alongside that, our chassis are basically with the wheelbase adjustable. So from 260, it'll do plus or minus 10 millimeter. So it's not designed to be an M chassis. It's designed to allow you to properly fit your shell without having to undo your suspension. And some people like to play with a slightly longer or slightly shorter wheelbase. From Kanzai, we continued our expansion on the Flex. So we were one of the first to introduce a Flex chassis into the RDX platform. And then we've expanded beyond that by allowing you to choose multiple flex points, and then you can strengthen the flex point to determine how much flex you like. All of the kits come standard with the battery tray. These are floating, so there's a very small 1 millimeter gap. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. And so the battery tray is also set up to be adjustable, meaning that the battery tray can be moved forward, backwards, as well as placed on top. So for those that are doing LTS, they have that option. So the main philosophy of this is to explore what it is to mix and match different chassis or different I guess the high point, the high benefit from different chassis. Some like, say for instance, maybe you have a glom, but you want to try like the top line belt transmission. So in that case, you would just put the YD2 back on the rear end of it, and so the middle section is actually universal. So this piece will integrate across all four. We'll release with 4 different colors, at least for the starts. And the design actually stems a little bit from the small ones, the 124s. So we went for this more slim design. A lot of people that initially see it, they are concerned about the flex and the twist. I can assure you, by boxing in sections of this, this will achieve the same stiffness as, say, like an MC1, which is probably one of the stiffer chassis that existed on the market. So it has quite a big range. And alongside these, we have our new G-Buster knuckles. These are just coming out of production, ready for release. The name of the knuckle we call G-Buster, named after Gundam. So the party trick is this top chip here, the KPI, has 4 adjustments. So this can be set 2 holes, so 0, 2 degrees, 4 degrees, 6 degrees. And then what you can see here is our carrying barrier, and that can slide back and forth, giving you trailing angle. But this is a little different in the sense that you can adjust the trailing angle without having to change your position of your ball joints. So you don't have to retune the front end. You can just move the bearing quite simply. And there are 2 different variants. So this is the RDX variant, which is set more for a 20 millimeter spaced front end. Also the orientation of the ball stud. And then we have the more traditional YD2 variant, which has the a higher standoff, and the ball joint is in the normal upright position.
Oh, right. I've never seen the chassis like this concept.
I think it was a challenge, but I think it's mainly because we are not a single independent proprietary manufacturer, so we can think outside of the box in this case. And so what we really wanted to do was, for those of us that have some old chassis maybe laying around, or there are people that have wondered, mix match this and this and this. This really opens the doors. And even like here, like even the base overdose chassis, one of the big requests that have come out of the United States is a lot of people have wanted to see what a DDS runs on this one, a Shark. So this one already has the hole spacing built in for the DDS on it. So like this front piece will already do overdose and Shark. Whereas the YD2 variant, this will actually be for YD2, RD2, SC2, and RDX. The rear section is where things change a little bit, because obviously the RD2 has different spacings, RDX too, and we have a special RDX party trick chassis coming out, lower plate, rear plate, but we'll introduce that in 2025. We have a new idea that came from this trip that we want to test and implement. And so one of the interesting pieces about this chassis is how to, how configure it. So we're actually building kind of like a car configurator. So there it basically starts with 2 questions. Do you have a base chassis? Do you have a custom chassis? If you have a custom chassis, it'll ask you what is your front end, what is your gearbox. Then it'll give you the parts list proper. And then of course we have 4 different colors, black, purple, blue, red. And we're actually gonna release the kits also in 3 different formats with no screws, because obviously some people they have all the parts and they just want to build. And then we're also available with a stainless steel and a titanium option.
Thank you very much.
Arigato. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much.